Welcome everybody to 7 steps to grow your real estate YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here real quick, and we will get started. I am coming to you live from our YouTube studio, our podcast and video studio here at MyCityLender headquarters. We would love to help any of you who are thinking of doing this kind of video work, whether it's a podcast or other type of video content. Would love to open up our studio for you to be able to utilize. And help you make the most out of the technology that we have in here, which is pretty cool at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me a second here. Share with audio.
If you guys have questions during the presentation, please put that in the chat box, and we'll make sure that we answer those questions so that we can run and get the most out of the presentation. So.
Yes, absolutely. And Shane and Summer will keep a really good eye on that chat and let me know if questions come up. Please definitely do raise your hand and put questions in there along the way. We want to make sure we're answering as many questions as we possibly can. I'm Brian Iverson. I'm your host today. I'm co-founder of MyCityLender and co-host of the Jay and Brian Show on the MyCityLender TV YouTube channel. The Jay and Brian Show is a video podcast that my partner and I started doing over 2 years ago, but in its current form and how we do it now, probably maybe the last 6 months. And that's really when our YouTube channel started growing. Really only about 6 months ago, we had maybe 30 or so subscribers. We're up over, I think we're at 202 this morning. And growing. And it's this formula that I'm going to present to you today is how we got there. And it's not really going to change between now and hopefully 1,000 subscribers and more for our YouTube channel. For those of you who are specifically interested in podcasting, YouTube does actually now have a carve out in the playlist, which we will also talk about later, for you to host a podcast specifically. Playlists are important, which we'll talk about later. So, I mean, obviously the main challenge facing all of us today is simply not enough client leads. It's a tough market. The pie is a little bit smaller, and we can talk about why that is until we're blue in the face. But I'd rather focus on finding ways that others aren't doing well to generate leads, and do much better because we're generating leads in ways that others aren't. And I believe, enter YouTube. I believe that YouTube is probably the most underutilized platform for generating leads in our industry, whether you're a real estate agent or mortgage loan officer. And so this presentation is designed to give you the steps to get your channel growing. You want to think of the steps that I'm going to give you as sort of an order of operations. It's very important to start with optimizing your channel and your content, and then get into maximizing the opportunities for growth with keywords and calls to action and all that kind of stuff. So, as I said, we don't have 1,000 subs yet, but we've gone from less than 30, about 30 6 months ago, to over 200 today. And we are actually seeing leads coming in from it now. It's like another landing page for our business. We probably are receiving about 1 call or email a week from somebody that's reaching out to us about home financing. And that's been pretty cool. And that's the driver of this project that my partner and I launched a while back now. So yeah, as I mentioned a moment ago, think of this as taking steps towards your goal, and each one of these is sort of a progression as you're building your channel. Today, again, we have what is it up to now? 202 is our channel. This is our landing page here. And this is a labor of love. We just decided one day to turn the camera on because nobody else was really doing what we had in mind. And it started out bad, which I will show you later. And we just stuck with it. We just released our 35th episode, actually, which we're really proud of. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. So start off with some quick facts. Google is the #1 search engine for buying and selling homes and doing the research for it, the how-to information. How to buy a home, how to sell a home, how to choose the right real estate agent, how to stage a home decor ideas, how to paint your house, on and on and on. And guess what? Google owns YouTube, and Google likes to direct users to YouTube in the search results, high up on the search results. So a big reason why I think it's a missed opportunity for real estate agents to be using YouTube, to not just stick with social media. I think YouTube becomes a great opportunity because it's a library of searchable and searchable content that people can come back to it. And by the way, I should set this up. This is a high level sort of how to. It's kind of fire hose. I'm going to give you a lot of information. I want to make sure that you know that we're available to you, Summer and myself, to sit down with you one-to-one and talk about your YouTube channel dreams and where you want to go with it to help give you some of our best practices. And hint, later in the presentation, one of the best things you can do is reach out to others who have had some success and learn from them. And that's what Jay and I did, which we'll talk about later. That's really brought us to this point. I'm not reinventing the wheel with these steps. These are things that I've learned along the way from other successful YouTubers. 54% of homeowners and potential buyers are viewing videos to obtain general real estate information. It's probably more than that now. That's a stat from maybe a year ago or so from ReChat. I mean, video it's a video world now. So again, when you go on Google and you search for something, it brings up video results from YouTube. Talked about that. Google owns YouTube, and so it's wanting to direct everybody they possibly can to YouTube. So investing in real estate videos is really an effective way to show potential buyers and sellers why they should choose you as their agent, whether it's as a buyer's agent or a listing agent. All right, so step number one is we want to think about optimizing our channel. So what do I mean by that? One of the most important pieces of a strong real estate YouTube chat strategy is optimizing your channel's design and content so that people want to subscribe and want to get future content. So by optimize, we're talking about your channel look, the branding, the about section, video descriptions, thumbnails, keywords, and calls to action. A quick moment here to talk about Canva because I absolutely love Canva and don't feel like I could live without it at this point. Probably most of you have heard of it by now. If you don't use it, you should. It is the platform for optimizing your YouTube channel. So I'm going to start with that. Whether you're designing your profile pic or your banner or your video thumbnails, if you're doing long form content, even short video editing now, it's really an awesome platform. I highly can't recommend it enough to be able to quickly and beautifully create your show's branding and so forth. So I like to start by talking about the profile image. It's kind of small. Most people think maybe not a big deal, but although it's small, it's going to appear on every real estate video that you share. My suggestion to real estate agents is use your headshot and make sure that your face is clear, that there aren't distractions or busy backgrounds, colorful backgrounds that allow you that have you popping off at abstract kind of backgrounds really is your way to do that. And if you are comfortable using your picture, trying to make your face as big and beautiful and bright in that profile, the small circle there as you can so that people can see your eyes. People want to engage with other humans. It just creates a higher level of engagement and trust when they feel like they can identify you on a human level. So the more visible your eyes, the better. Your banner is arguably the most valuable space on your YouTube channel page. You're going to want to make sure you have your logo, your contact information visible, tagline, a brief tagline, and maybe a brief description of what you do if you can fit it in there. Again, Canva is perfectly set up to do this for you with all of the dimensions pre-designed in there. You just have to create it, download it, and upload it, and it'll look beautiful. Channel trailer video. So this is pinned at the top of the video is pinned at the top of your channel page. Once somebody subscribes, this will pop up every single time that this comes up every time before they subscribe. Actually, when they come to your page, they're going to see this. Everybody's going to see this. I need to take the step back on that one. This is an opportunity to create or choose a video either from your library or create something specific that you want posted here that shows what you offer, shows the type of content that viewers can expect from you. You can use it for promotions or other interesting videos. It's very easy to do this. You upload it to your channel like any other video you do, and then within the video manager within YouTube, you identify it, the branding section, of YouTube, you identify it as your trailer video. Again, it pops up every time somebody hits your channel, so it's a great way to quickly introduce yourself or promote the type of content that your viewers are going to expect from your channel. So the trailer video description is really the first sort of written thing that viewers see on your real estate YouTube channel. So it might even be more important than your about section, which we'll talk about in a minute. You want to use the trailer description opportunity to describe the video and then also name specific questions and problems you help clients solve. So maybe you're a specialist for first-time homebuyers, or you're a specialist for veterans, the VA loan program, all things veteran. This is where you want to explain that very clearly. I'm going to recommend also that you have your contact information in there if it'll fit, as well as a really pro tip here is to have your subscribe link in there as well. They can click that. You want to have your, we'll talk about it later, but you want to have your subscribe links everywhere you possibly can. So your about section, your about page will generally be viewed by people who they might not be quite ready to hit that subscribe button. They're considering whether they want to subscribe to your channel or reach out to you for help. So make sure in your about section to write a short real estate bio that gets to the point, identifies your niche, and standout qualities. And of course, include your real estate landing page information and contact info here. Your YouTube channel, you should think of it as an additional landing page for your real estate skills and expertise for people out there who need it. But you also absolutely, of course, want to make sure you're directing them to your real estate landing page where you now have more information specifically about listings you're working on and more details about your real estate practice. Okay, playlists. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. This is really, really important. So playlists are key for targeting different types of leads. So for example, buyers and sellers have different questions and concerns. So a really good practice is to create specific playlists for each customer's personas. This will help draw them in and increase conversions, because when they watch one video, YouTube will show them other videos in your playlist, and that keeps them in your channel. And the algorithm, that's what the algorithm is looking for. And by doing that, it's going to increase its promotion of your videos beyond your subscribers, because people are sticking around and they're watching your videos. I recommend creating playlists for home buyers, home sellers, home staging, community news, listing videos. You absolutely must have a playlist for your listing videos. Think about this. It really is an opportunity when you go on a listing appointment to pull up your YouTube channel and say, here are examples of listing videos I've done for my previous customers that have been really successful. It's a really pro-looking presentation, and they can see that your intentionality in generating really awesome content and being organized with it. So absolutely make sure you have a listing video category there. And that's any type of listing video you might make, whether it's a selfie video touring a house, or specifically a video, a produced video for a listing, or drone video, whatever it is that you use to promote listings, put it in that playlist. Other, housing market updates is another really good one. I'm going to point out a couple of YouTubers later on in the presentation who I think whose channels you should definitely check out, because I think they have two different approaches to their playlist, but they do a really good job with it. One of them actually gets into the mortgage lane quite a bit, and he does mortgage rate updates. He does, 101 type videos on conventional loans and VA loans. And I think that's appropriate for a real estate agent to do basic videos on that, because you do wear a lot of hats. And when you're working with a buyer, they tend to have those questions for you, and you want to be able to be a resource for them. And again, having an organized playlist that can help them is huge. Step number 2, you want to optimize your content. So what we're talking about here, let me stop real quick. Any questions on the previous section? I will keep going. Number 2, you want to optimize your content. Oh, go ahead.
How do you connect it with your website? How would I connect that with my website? Because a lot of times I like to send people, if I'm propagating something, I want to drive them back to my website. How does this click in with that? Do I put these videos on my website and then all of that?
Great question. So you do have the ability, YouTube definitely lets you take you can embed any video you want from YouTube. There's an embed code that you can grab from your channel, from your video, and then put that into your listing website. Absolutely, you can do that. The other way, of course, is to have your website everywhere possible. Have your website up here on your banner, have it in your trailer description, have it in the about section here. On every video you do, and we'll talk about this as well in more detail. You're going to want to have your contact information, landing page, all of that in every video description as well. Don't overthink that. You can create templates that you might want to customize. You do want to customize the description, taglines and titles for each video, but you can have a template for your contact information, how to get a hold of me, for example, in all of your descriptions as well. Good question.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
So is it wrong thinking for me to want to drive people to my website? Am I supposed to be for Google purposes and to be more relevant? Am I supposed to harness it here?
No, absolutely. Again, think of this as an additional landing page. You want to have all your contact information there so people can reach you right there if they don't want to go through to your listing, your real estate website. But when you embed a YouTube video on your website, it's directing them back to YouTube as well. Again, where you still have all of your contact information, how to get a hold of me, watch other videos. And that's a good, you want them coming into to maximize your audience in YouTube. You want people coming back over and over again. And I would think ultimately, whether they engage you through the YouTube channel or your listing or your real estate landing page, you're able to capture them, right? It just gives you this whole additional opportunity to capture people who are searching the internet for information, doing research to find your YouTube channel. Does that answer your question? I hope I answered your question. Okay. Thank you for the question. So, okay, optimize your content is step number 2. Targeting your audience and the production value, the look and quality of your content is what we're going to talk about here. We'll start with talking about creating engaging, targeted, and relevant content. This is going to be kind of high level. Everybody has a unique style and approach to video content that they want to make. But I think this principle kind of holds true no matter what style of video you're making, whether it's a podcast, whether it's selfie videos, whether it's highly produced listing videos, neighborhood promotion videos or business promotion video, whatever it is you're doing, you want to keep these principles in mind. So typically the most popular categories that we see out there that I think do the best are educational videos. So again, 96% of people watch explainer or educational videos to learn more about products or services before they make a decision. Again, for example, how to buy a house in 2024. What questions should I ask when interviewing a real estate agent? Local market updates. How much are closing costs? People are asking these questions. So educational type videos, being as educational as you can, I think goes a long way. And again, because YouTube is a library of searchable content that doesn't go away, unlike social media where you post it now, it's gone 30 seconds later, people can come across your content that you produced 6 months ago, a year ago, and that brings them to your YouTube channel with your contact information available to answer any follow-up questions they might have. We talked about it, listing videos. YouTube just is a great way to get more listings, especially if you have a well-designed channel with great branding and you've got your playlist set up, including a listing video playlist that you can pull up at a listing presentation. It looks professional, it looks organized, it looks intentional. And a can't miss point here is to use YouTube as part of your listing presentation. Community highlights, a lot of content you can create with this. You can highlight local restaurants and businesses. That might be another playlist as well, by the way, is a community highlights playlist in there. And local, you want your content, we're going to talk about this again in a minute, but you really want to be as local and specific with your content as you can. People are looking for how to buy a house in Chandler. They're not looking for how to buy a house in Arizona or just how to buy a house in general. They're using targeted keywords for locations and demographics as well. So you want to be as targeted as you can. But local restaurants and businesses, events and activity. You can do videos about specific neighborhoods to help buyers decide where to buy a home. You have to be careful, obviously, not to violate fair housing laws. For example, you can't mention demographics specifically, religious landmarks, or even, believe it or not, pointing out highly regarded schools is actually a no-no these days. Content format. So when it comes to content format, there's really two main formats to discuss when it comes to YouTube. The first is shorts. It is a shorts, reels, story world now. We're all just swiping our phones, going from one to the next. And the platforms know this, and they are just promoting it so heavily compared to even long form videos now, especially YouTube. So YouTube, it has now figured out, they've implemented monetization now on shorts. So they're promoting shorts right now. So you want to make sure, even if you go to a listing and you do a 3 or 4 minute video, cut a couple of shorts at 60 seconds or less out of that. And now you have 3 pieces of content. Plus you have a couple of shorts that YouTube is going to show a lot more than they are going to show the long form. That's just where the algorithm is today. And hint, when we talk about promoting your channel, the shorts is where it's at when it comes to promoting and crossing over your YouTube content into social media to promote your business, but also your YouTube channel. I just by far the most, for example, so on the Jay and Brian show, we just posted our most recent episode. We're generally getting a couple hundred views on our long form the full podcast video, but the shorts get thousands and thousands of views each. And that we think is what's driving the occasional phone call and what's driven up our subscriber count so quickly from, like I said, about 30 to 200 just in the last 6 months. When we post a short, we'll see a couple of subscribers each time we post a short. It's that the shorts are that important. Actually, I should point out one of our shorts, actually, a couple of our shorts have gone viral, but in the last few weeks, we had one that actually reached 1.3 million views, and it was a collaboration with a successful YouTuber, which we'll talk about later, who has 20,000 subscribers, and we did a podcast with him, and he posted it on his channel and collaborated with us, so it's giving us the same exposure, and it reached over 1 million views on Instagram alone. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, long form vlogging, there still is a place for this. People want to, again, on the educational side of thing, really properly giving a listing its due, showing off the property. It's going to take longer than 60 seconds. So I think it's important to keep doing long form blogging. And as I mentioned earlier, you pull shorts out of that content to create multiple pieces of content from one video. You have to avoid overly general content. This is the biggest thing that I see when I look at other videos, whether it's loan officer videos or real estate videos, is the overly general content. So, and I'm going to show you a snip later on of the Jay and Brian show, the first episode we ever did. If you just make a general video on the process of buying a home with no locality or target demographic, it's just not going to end up providing you with much value. People won't watch it long because they're not really identifying with it, because you haven't made it for first-time home buyers in Chandler, Arizona, for example. I always come back to that example because it's an easy one to get your head around in terms of being local and being as specific as you can. And when people click off it, the algorithm doesn't see it as a highly desirable video, and so they won't favor it, and you won't get the views and subscribers, and it won't help grow your channel if it's too general. On the other hand, so when you create a detailed market update, for example, on housing trends, on the housing market and trends in the Phoenix area, for example, that's going to lead to a lot more engagement. You're not only going to get viewers locally, but you're also going to get viewers out of town. So people in different states around the country, this is an important point, so don't miss this. They're searching specifically for the housing market updates in Phoenix, or housing market updates in Chandler or Gilbert or Scottsdale. They're not searching housing market updates or housing market updates in Arizona. They're going to specifically where they are thinking of moving to, whether they're an investor looking to pick up a rental property, or they're considering moving their family as a primary residence, moving to a different state. So the more local you get with your keywords and your content and the demographics that you're pointing to, the more engagement you're going to get on these videos. Within the context of optimizing your content, we have to talk about thumbnails. So thumbnails are just super important. Good thumbnails is going to bring you more views and more subscribers. You want your thumbnails to be bright and colorful. You want to, again, let's see those eyes. Let's get you on there. You're a person. People are much more inclined to engage with a human than they are an abstract graphic. Again, as I mentioned earlier, when we were talking about the profile picture, people want to see your eyes. That's what people look at when they look at a picture of you. They go right to your eyes, and that's where the human engagement and connection can come from to a certain degree. It's just a picture. It's not actually in person, obviously, but it just makes a big difference and really boosts the potential for them to want to click on your video and watch it. And believe it or not, the thumbnail title is actually picked up, even though this is a static image. And again, Canva, I did this on Canva in seconds. I just took a picture of myself here in the studio, went into Canva, removed the background, threw up a bright kind of abstract background, created the title. And this video actually did really well. I think it was 700, 800 views within a couple of weeks of launching this one. You want them to be bright, you want them to be attractive, you want them to be noticeable. And so spend time, be intentional about your thumbnails when you do the longer form videos, especially. Okay, step number 3. Good editing and production quality. It absolutely matters. If you want to create engagement, you want your channel to grow, people have to enjoy seeing and hearing your content. One of the reasons why YouTube is so powerful for real estate marketing is that video is obviously, it's more engaging than text, than photos. It's how we're wired. We want to see moving images. It keeps us engaged in what we're looking at. So I like to start step number 3 talking about the need for good editing. Again, the look of your videos is really important. And I don't want this to scare people off from turning the camera on if you haven't already, if you're at that phase where I'm not sure I want to turn the camera on. As I will show you later, the early episodes of the Jay and Brian show were just terrible, visually and from an audio standpoint. So you need good editing to remove awkward pauses, to create professional videos that are engaging. You have to either do it yourself or find somebody that can do it for you. And I understand it's a very time consuming thing. I know, because in the early days of Jay and Brian, I was doing all the editing, and it's time consuming, but it's really important for putting out content that people not only are going to want to click on, but then stay on the video and then want to come back. So there's 3 things that really, really are important that the production quality helps with, which is click on the first place, stay with the video because it looks and sounds really good. I see so many loan officer videos these days that are talking head, and the content is really good. I've got friends in the business that are prolific at putting out good content, but the audio is terrible. It's awful. It's like they're 10 feet away from the microphone. They refuse to go invest in a good wireless lapel mic, like the Rode mics, or DJI makes really good Wi-Fi or Bluetooth mics, and just simple things like that. If it sounds really good, the audio quality, I'm going to tell you right now, is even more important than the video quality. If it sounds really good, people are going to keep listening and keep watching. But good editing removes awkward pauses, mumbling, uncomfortable camera movement. And nowadays, the tools are getting so easy to use, and they're using AI to do all this for you. And so it is getting a lot easier to use. You don't have to have a PhD in film editing nowadays. But at the same time, it is time consuming. And so it is worth exploring opportunities to have people do it for you, even though there's definitely a monetary investment that comes with that. Eliminating that unnecessary background noise. So for example, in our podcast studio, we've done our best to soundproof it, but there's still a little bit of an echo, and you want to get rid of those kinds of things to make it sound, again, really high quality, would make people want to keep listening to it. When it comes to your videos and subtitles are huge because people oftentimes will have their volume turned off. Everybody's on their phone these days. Occasionally people will find your content on a computer, but mostly it's on your phone. And so having that subtitle on there, it will keep somebody just a little bit longer at minimum because they're reading what's going on there to see what the video is about. And that is good for the algorithm. Again, the algorithm looks at how long people stay with your video, the retention stat. And so you definitely want to consider adding subtitles to your long form, but I think it's a non-negotiable when it comes to your short videos, your selfie videos, and any shorts that you create from longer form videos. that are talking head videos, or where there's the spoken, where you're speaking on the video, whether you're in front of it or behind the camera, you want to have captions on there. So which editing tools do we use? The first one I'm going to talk about is Blink. I'm not a paid sponsor, although maybe I should be. I love this. I love this app. If you have not heard of Blink, you need to download it to your phone. It's on Android and Apple. It is by far, bar none, the best selfie video app that I have found, and I have looked at a lot of them. There's so many out there. What initially attracted me to Blink was the super easy, super accurate, and pro-looking captions. Beautiful captions that are colorful, that pop words out, that you can adjust, the angle of them. I'm going to play in a second here an example of a video I did with Blink. Here's what it does for you. It auto-generates your captions really quickly and accurately, so you're not sitting there spending time having to edit the text on there to make sure it's right. Hundreds of styles of captions to use from. It now has AI technology in it where it auto trims the beginning and the end and takes out any pauses automatically for you. You don't have to do any of that. And it also includes a voice synced teleprompter. Why is that important? When you have a teleprompter, if anybody's used a teleprompter, you know that it's very difficult to figure out the speed of the teleprompter. Either it's too fast or too slow for you. And either way, you end up sounding not quite natural on video. Blink, it's synced to your pace. So it'll slow down if you slow down. It'll speed up if you speed up. It makes it sound way more genuine, and then you get through it. You're one take, for example, spending way less time in front of it. So let me play this real quick, give you an example of what Blink does.
Should I buy a house right now? Is the most common question that loan officers and realtors get asked. And almost always loan officers and realtors simply say yes and miss an opportunity to connect with a new client. Are you considering a primary home purchase to provide more security for your family? Rates have risen, yes, but they won't be this high forever. It's very likely you'll be able to refinance to a low rate in the future, and you won't be subject to rising rental rates as a homeowner. Thinking about an investment property purchase? How does
the angle there, I was able to quickly just make it on an angle to make it a little more interesting.
Brian, you'll have to say that whole line again. You couldn't hear on top of the video.
Over the audio. I'm sorry. I had to turn it up too high. So the captions that you saw in that thank you, Summer. The captions you saw in the video there, I didn't have to edit them at all. Their algorithm is just superior when it comes to translating your verbal word into the captions. So you'll spend next to no time editing, which was a problem on virtually every app that I had tried before. And then how beautiful and pro they are. This is one of their pre-built templates. I didn't have to do anything to tell it to make it look like this, other than use two fingers to slant the text to make it look a little bit more interesting. So Blink is your way to go for selfie videos. If you have any questions on that, reach out to us. We're happy to help you make the most of that. It's just a cool platform. Nowadays, the Jay and Brian Show, we use a third-party video production company. We use Upwork. It's where people from around the world, they register as creatives and to offer a variety of different services, one being video production. And so we work with a gentleman who's actually in Pakistan, and we just send a Google link with the raw video that we take, and then he produces it for us. I'll show you an example of that later. It really is not as expensive as some of these dedicated video production companies that charge hundreds of dollars a month. We're doing our videos for a lot less than that. But Power Director 365 is the one that I use, Cyberlink. It's a lot less expensive than Adobe Premiere Pro, but nowadays it's really good. It does everything you need it to do as a real estate agent or loan officer in terms of producing, whether it's selfie videos or listing videos, any kind of video that you want to produce. It's got a lot of AI technology in it, again, now to help automate a lot of the editing. If you are looking to do your own editing, I highly recommend Power Director 365. Again, I am not a sponsor for any of these companies I'm promoting, but please ask us, let us know if you have any questions on that. Canva, can't say enough about that. When it comes to video editing, it does have video editing in it. I think it's really good for shorts. But what's great about Canva is you have access to the whole world of their graphics, and they also have a library of royalty-free music that you can use to create your videos. It's a little bit more difficult, I think, to create a video in Canva. Just the way they've designed the process of moving from frame to frame and graphics flying in and out. I think they could do a little bit better job in that. But Canva, again, is a great tool. Any questions on video editing? We will move along. Step number 4 in designing an effective YouTube channel is to carefully pick your YouTube words, your keywords. Since YouTube is owned by Google, SEO or search engine optimization is super important to keep in mind for your YouTube channel in order to get more views and to drive more traffic to your channel. And that's what it's all about. Using keywords takes full advantage of the Google SEO algorithm. So you really want to be intentional about this. Optimizing your videos for YouTube searches means creating videos based on keywords and covering topics that your target audience is searching for. So for instance, if you're looking for first-time home buyers, you're going to want to use keywords like affordable homes for sale or buying your first home or how to buy your first home. And also, and we talked about this earlier, since your content is highly localized and really, really should be, your keywords should also be used in conjunction with localities such as homes for sale in Chandler. Always be as specific as you can and as local as you can. Can't say that enough. And we're going to talk about where to put the keywords here in just a minute as well. I just wanted to go over some basics on keywords and what to think about. Keyword placement. So where should I put my keywords? Well, in short, everywhere. Let me be a little bit more specific though. You're going to want them in the titles of your videos. So if it's a long form video, you'll set up the title. If it's a short video, you can put the text. You can overlay text on the video, but you also when you post it, whether it's to YouTube or on social media, you'll use the keywords in the description. Description within YouTube, put all your keywords in the description. The algorithm is reading everything, again, as we talked about earlier. So all those keywords should be everywhere, all over your channel. Even put keywords if you want to I think it's a good idea in the banner of your channel, not just a catchphrase, but try to build a catchphrase that uses the keywords that gets to the audience that you're hoping to capture. Subtitles. So subtitles are also picked up by the YouTube algorithm. Whether it's a short or a long form video that you have subtitles in, the algorithm is also looking at that. So make sure that you're using those subtitles and that when you're doing your videos that you're speaking those keywords as well. And again, on custom thumbnails, we talked about that earlier. The algorithm actually does pick up on, even though it's a static image from Canva, the algorithm, believe it or not, does actually pick up keywords from those thumbnails. All right, moving along to step number 5, which is you want to include calls to action everywhere. So just like keywords, calls to action are they're verbal, they're written, they're visual, they're everywhere. So let's start with examples of what calls to action are, and then we'll talk about where you want to put them. So don't miss the importance of this. Calls to action are what gets you engagement in your videos, and the YouTube algorithm relies heavily on your engagement. So are they staying with your video? How long are they staying with your video? Are they clicking through to other videos? All based again on which are prompted by in your calls to action. Subscribe. Please subscribe if you like this content and find it useful. There's different schools of thought of when you should ask for people to subscribe in your YouTube videos. Some people say just ask right up front. Some people think you need to earn a little bit of trust and get to a point in the video where, okay, if they're still listening or they're still watching, they like this content. So now I can be a little bit more intentional about asking for subscriptions. I tend to believe to put it maybe closer to the front, introduce the video, get the the theme of the video going, and then ask, if you would do me a favor and hit subscribe. It really helps me to achieve my goal of reaching more home buyers and home sellers to help them in their journey by hitting that subscribe button. Like and comment. So liking and commenting is also very, very important, as we all know by now, not just for YouTube, but on social media. What questions do you have? Have you had any different experiences? Let me know down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and answer any questions that you have. Is there anything more that you could add to this discussion? We want to hear it. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Here's something I think a lot of YouTubers miss is putting a call to action to hit the bell and be notified of future videos. So step 1 is subscribing, but did you know that they can hit the bell? And by doing that, it's now going to pop up your next video on the top of the recommended list, whether it's in an email because your YouTube account is attached to your Gmail. And so whenever a new video comes out on a channel that you're subscribed to, it'll send you an email notification. When you when you open up your YouTube app, the first videos that it shows you to watch are channels that you've subscribed, but more specifically channels that people have also hit the bell on to be notified when future videos come up. So absolutely be asking for that. Click the link below to visit our website. So here, this might answer one of the earlier questions. One of your calls to action should absolutely be to direct people to your listing, I'm sorry, I keep calling it a listing, your real estate website, because that's really where your full showcase is, right? Of who you are as a real estate agent, what your specialties are, where you're an expert at. All of those things are important. Of course, your active listings and other actionable real estate information is there. So by all means, include that as a call to action in all your videos verbally. Include that. Make sure it's in the subtitles. Make sure it's in the descriptions. We're going to go over again where to put these, but that's a really important one. And check out our playlist for other similar videos. Remember, we talked about earlier, playlists are really huge for creating, for retention, for engagement, but also retention. So when if they click on a video of yours and they like it, they're going to be very likely to want to watch another video of yours. And so offering them that and letting them know that, hey, head over to this playlist. And maybe it's something you're doing a video on one topic and it reminds you of a video you did that's ancillary to it, but maybe it's in a different playlist. So a great example is a video I did on YouTube myths. So I did one general one where it was I called it the 5 biggest myths on VA home loan, but I also did a specific one on the VA appraisal. The myth that the appraisal sticks to the property. It's absolutely untrue. So I did a video on that. And then when I did the general one and I came to the appraisal topic in that one where I was sped through these different ones, I said, by the way, I did a much more detailed video on this. Head over to our playlist for VA home loans where you're going to find that video specifically to dive more into the appraisal myth. So definitely talking up your playlist. So where do you put them? Again, everywhere. You're going to want your calls to action in your YouTube banner. You're going to want them in your trailer video and your description. You're going to want them in your about section. You're going to want them verbally mentioned multiple times within your videos. Don't be shy about this. Totally figure out what works best for you, what you're comfortable doing. Again, I do believe that there should be some level of engagement and trust in place before you necessarily ask for somebody to subscribe. I think asking right when the video starts doesn't make sense to me, really, because they don't even know what you're about to tell them or what they're about to learn. So why would they subscribe? Getting a little of the ways in, I think, makes a lot of sense, but making sure you're verbally mentioning multiple times in your video to subscribe, to, ask questions, which creates comment engagement, point them to your playlist. All of that stuff is really, really important. And in all the video description. So all of these calls to action, you should also have, again, you can create a template with the various calls to action that you're gonna have on every single video, and be able to cut and paste that into your videos as you're posting them. And social media posts. And so this is going to bring me into step number 6, which is promoting your channel on social media. Any questions real quick on calls to action? Okay, we'll keep moving right along here. So step number 6, an effective YouTube strategy involves promoting your channel, obviously. And one of the best uses in my opinion of social media is to promote your YouTube channel. We're all used to, by now, I would assume that most of the people on the call already use social media to promote their business, to maybe already posting videos and things like that. Utilizing those social media platforms to promote your channel is a great way to go. You absolutely want to promote across all of your channels. So whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, I wonder when they're going to stop saying that. TikTok, you definitely will benefit from promoting your content. And when we talked about creating shorts earlier, that's the primary, I think, mode of content you want to use to promote on social media. It's not the only one. Shorts from your content is a great way to do it. I think you also want to consider making videos that are promotional about your channel. So so it's not necessarily a clip from a longer video. It's actually you making a promotional video to drive people back to your YouTube channel. Hey, head on over to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking about this on an upcoming video. You don't want to miss it. Utilize the social media platforms, and short form content is the key here. Again, we're in a world now where everybody's just swiping. The algorithms are really pushing the short form content because that's what people consume. And so your best chance of getting a wide range of exposure is to focus on short form content, both within YouTube, but also on social media to promote your channel. As we talked about earlier with regard to your keywords and hashtags and things like that, on the YouTube channel, you want to be putting all of this on your social media posts as well. So in your quick little video descriptions, make sure you're using your keywords and also taking advantage of the hashtags, which are a lot more powerful. They're a lot more important, by the way, on social media than YouTube. YouTube says that they don't really matter. They do matter a little bit because when people search for things in the YouTube search, the hashtags are part of the algorithm for directing people to your video. And use your calls to action. Head on over to our channel and like and subscribe. Really appreciate the support. It helps us reach a lot more folks to help them. Helps us help more people. I definitely would recommend using scheduling and posting services. What you'll find when you go down the road of building a YouTube channel and creating all this video content is that it is very time consuming to edit it, post-production, and also very time consuming to post it. Posting well or effectively on social media really requires you to post natively to each platform, meaning upload it to Instagram and use Instagram's music library. Same thing to Facebook, same thing TikTok. They want you to use their library of music, and so, for example, their algorithm is going to promote your video more because you're using their keywords, their graphics, and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me, platforms like Hootsuite and Sprout Social make that a little bit easier for you because you're able to set it up in their platform essentially one time and have it upload natively to each of the platforms. So something to consider. The other thing that those do for you is they give you analytics on how your social media posts are performing. What kind of engagement, who's watching it, where are they watching it? What you don't measure, you can't improve. And so having any analytics like that is really important for being able to target your content and your audience. All right, tip number 7 is to in terms of growing your channel is to follow, engage, and collaborate with other YouTubers. And by other YouTubers, I mean find other YouTubers who are a lot more successful than you are at YouTube. There are a lot of other real estate YouTubers and influencers out there now, but you shouldn't consider them all to be competitors. The reality is that still a very, very small percentage of real estate agents and loan officers are using YouTube, are committed to it. And so though you can find a lot of videos now, again, the percentage of agents and loan officers that are using it is still very, very small. And so finding other YouTubers to collaborate with, which is what I'm going to spend most of my time on this section talking about, but also learning from. So collaboration doesn't just mean doing a video with them, which we're going to get to. It means learning from them. I mean, one of the best learning experiences that Jay and I have had, and again, we didn't invent the wheel with this, is collaborating with other successful YouTubers. One guy had 20,000 subscribers, whole life insurance guy, generates all kinds of leads for his business, insurance leads, new agent leads, business partnership leads, all kinds of stuff with his YouTube channel. But he's really one of the drivers of this formula that we use. We learned from just sitting down and talking to him about how he built his YouTube channel. We did the video with him, but then we talked to him about how he did it. So that's an important part of this step, is finding other successful YouTubers and learning from them. Step number 1 to creating collaborations with other YouTubers is to find the ones that you would want to collaborate with, obviously. Find ones that ideally you're going to want to find others that have similar content, but already have a larger audience. And that should go without saying, because when you do get around to finally doing a collaboration with them, they're going to promote you to their audience, which is bigger than yours. And that's a big deal. 2 YouTubers who I highly recommend you check out. Blake Clark is local. He started on Instagram, and he does now have a YouTube channel. his YouTube channel is at Blake B. Clark. On Instagram, I think he's got 20,000 followers at this point. His videos are very listing driven. They're beautiful, highly produced videos. He does a podcast, and so he puts that content there as well. Jeb Smith, on the other hand, who you should absolutely take a look. He's got about 90,000 followers or subscribers on his YouTube channel now. He's out of Southern California. His model is genius. He does spend a lot of time real estate and mortgage education. You can see in his banner, it's really, really simple. This is a model you should try to follow in creating your branding, and your banner is telling people what they're going to get when they land on your page right there. Blake has a different approach. As you can see, he doesn't have that. I think one of the reasons why Jeb has been ultra successful is because of this approach to it. And his playlists, again, are set up to take you for the different, personas of people who might land on his page who are looking for either real estate or mortgage education. So he does a lot of market update videos and how, here's an update on that you need to know about conventional financing. Here's a new program that they just launched to help first-time home buyers. He does a lot of those kind of videos. So find other YouTubers and other influencers with similar content. Follow and engage in their videos. So subscribe to their channel, but I don't mean just hit the like button. Comment, but make genuine comments. Great video. This is very good for first-time homebuyers, for example. I've also found that this, and this contribute to their discussion, creates more engagement for them. And the more you do this, you're going to start popping up regularly to the top of their comments list that they're going to see. And that develops is going to develop a bit of a know, like, and trust with them, so that when you do finally reach out to them with a collaboration request or an idea, they're much more likely and going to be happy to take your call and talk about what you can do to collaborate on a video, but also, again, to give you the opportunity to learn from them how they built their following. Finally, find ways to reach out to provide value to their audience. It's about being a giver, right? It's not about calling them and saying, hey, I'd love to have you on I'd love to do a collaboration with you because I really would like to I'd tap into your 80,000 followers. That would be great for me. It's not about that. You want to reach out to people and have a giver mentality. How can I add value to their audience? An example might be agents in other states to collaborate with, where there's a lot of migration to Arizona from. Another example could be if you're a buyer's agent, you could create a video with an inspection company discussing what buyers should be looking for when they're looking at buying a house. And there are some successful YouTubers that are inspectors. They have inspection companies that have large followings. That type of collaboration, I think, makes a lot of sense for real estate agents and should be something that you take a look at. When they engage back, or even if they don't, reach out to connect about collaborating and how you can help their audience. That's the key. How can you help their audience? That's going to get their attention. And then step 4, hopefully you land opportunities to collaborate with them. And of course, one of the main reasons you're doing that is to reach their size of their audience. Again, when we collaborated with, his name is Chris Kirkpatrick, Life 180 is the YouTube channel. He started promoting our content on his channel, and we went from 30 to 75 in probably a month. And then it just kept going from there. And so you want to make sure you're focused on collaborating with other YouTubers. Don't think of them as competition. Think of it as learning opportunity to be constantly improving what you're putting out there. And that's a key to this whole thing, is constantly looking for ways to improve. And that takes a commitment. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, which brings me to my bonus tip. You have to just turn the camera on. It's hard. I know, because that's where Jay and I were a couple of years ago. One of the biggest hangups to getting content out there is being afraid to just turn it on. Will I look good? Will I sound good? Will I sound like I know what I'm talking about? Will my video be awesome? Right? I mean, everybody wants their stuff to be awesome because we know that that's what, people nowadays, there's so much video out there. You need to look and sound awesome, but you can't overthink that. Get the camera going. No YouTuber was great the first time they turned on the camera. I mean, the examples are endless, whether it's Mr. Beast, Dude Perfect, or the Jay and Brian Show. We were truly spectacularly awful when we started. This day, I'm going to show you a quick clip here. I bought 2 $15 USB mics. I said, Jay, let's go. We've been talking about it for a while. Let's just go shoot a video on what not to do in a loan process. Talk about overly general, boring, Not specific, not local. It just was a bad video, but we enjoyed it, and we're like, we need to keep doing this. So you're going to hear how bad it sounds. I'm going to hit play.
Hey everybody, Jay, this is super exciting. This is momentous. We've been thinking about doing this for a long time.
It is. It's super exciting. This is 2 years probably.
That's probably 2 years in the making. Yeah.
That is not.
Yeah, we were thinking that we'd be.
That is not just your computer buffering. That is actually how bad those microphones were. They sounded like voice modulators. So those first few videos taught us we needed to invest in audio. We actually had friends reaching out to us going, yeah, good video, and we would ask them about it, and like it wasn't really that easy to hear you. The sound wasn't great, and then of course the lighting was okay. We had our nice, our copier was featured in our in our first few videos. But we rolled the camera and we enjoyed it, and we were making incremental improvements. I think we really hit our stride when we had our good friend Shane on the show. We were still in the same spot, as you can see. We weren't featuring the copier anymore. We'd upgraded to Shure SM7B microphones. Shane is actually our first guest we ever had on the show, and that's when we realized I think it was episode 16. And we realized this is what we want to do going forward. You have to keep trying. You have to stay committed to it. And we're episode 35, and Jay and I are still sitting there going, what is our show about? Who is our audience? You have to stay committed to it for the long term, and it will improve itself. It can't help but improve itself. And so obviously you can see the lighting is much better. You can hear it sounds great. And when we had Shane on the show, we knew we were going to do guest shows from now on.
Shane, how'd we do on the M&Ms?
10 out of 10, Brian would do this again. But again, if I find a brown in there, there's going to be trouble.
Improved our production quality. We put on with our production quality, we added an intro, and it just grew from there. And today we're really proud of what it is. We now have a dedicated studio where I'm actually coming from right now.
The fastest growing talk show podcast in America.
Much cooler intro. Our editor created this for us, by the way.
Show.
And it goes into
Welcome to the Jay and Brian Show.
It's now
I'm Jay.
I'm show.
Brian. And today we have a special guest and a good friend of ours, Tony Rodarte. And he is the founder and executive director of Compassion Alliance. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Excited
Tony.
to be here.
Awesome to have you.
And so, the production quality is now really, really good. We do the multiple cameras now that I think just shows really well. The audio, again, is top notch with the microphones that we now use. And the dedicated studio is great because now we don't have to break it down and put it together every time we want to shoot a show. That took an hour and a half alone. And so having that studio has been great. And I want to talk about the studio again here real quick. We'd love to open it up to any of you who might be interested in shooting content, or if you have a podcast idea, we'd love to help you formulate that. That's, beyond YouTube, Jay and I have really developed a passion for podcasting, the technology to use, how to record it, strategies for growing your podcast. We'd absolutely love to come alongside you for that, and offer our studio for you to use at any point that you might want to. So again, just turn the camera on. You won't be sorry that you did, because it really will take your business to a whole nother level, and setting up your YouTube channel to maximize that opportunity is really, really essential to having overall success.